Hello and welcome back to Swinging at Shins, a Premier League podcast from across the pond. I am Rhett, and I'm joined, as always, by Aaron. Aaron, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I can't complain. It's a little chilly, but I can't complain with a good beer in hand.
I was going to say, it is the 1st of February, which means transfer deadline day is behind us.
Yep.
So we will have plenty to talk about with that. Give you a quick little rundown. Arsenal lose to City at the Etihad. Mm-hmm. Newcastle punched their ticket to the EFL Cup Final. Manchester United have just punched their ticket to the EFL Cup Final.
Yep.
Chelsea have spent over 600 million euros since Todd Boehly took over. Enzo Fernandez cost 120 of those 600 million euros.
Payday, people.
You definitely think they'd be better off at doing transfer paperwork after all these transfers. But sorry, PSG and Ziyech. Ain't happening.
Nah.
United have lost Eriksen until late April at the earliest.
The most hopeful.
They bring in some coverage, mostly in the form of Sabitzer. Did I say his name correctly?
Bro, I have no idea. He's Austrian. I can't speak English well.
Good enough. And Leeds are running an experiment that I cannot wait to see the results of. Will the United States men's national team survive the Premiership? One piece at a time.
Man, I hope so, because it'd be an embarrassment otherwise.
They're not taking Matty Turner, who, by the way, would be a very good goalie if he played all the time, but they're not taking him. I love him.
No.
Anyway, this is interesting. Here we go. Let's start off with this. Man of the month, manager of the month.
Yeah.
Who's your player of the month?
I actually need to pull it up real quick. Give me a second. I think – I know. Sorry. Jesus. It's hard not to think it's between Rashford or Mahrez. I got to go with oh, God, I got to go with Rashford. He's been so good.
That's not even a question for me. That's Rashford 100%. Dude scores all the time.
His 10 games it's been?
He constantly scores. He makes things happen out of nothing. He is the first guy all season to make Thomas Partey look like a statue. And then he ripped in an absolute banger.
Yeah.
Like, he's beating everybody.
He came off the bench for that EFL Cup game, and he got 2 assists.
Very, very good player. I had wrote him off. I was not thinking he was going to do anything well. And then, I mean, Ten Hag, man, he knows how to get young players focused and performing at their best. And United's just all the better for it.
I also think there's a little bit of the fact that he's got stability with a coach now. He's had 2 coaches at this time.
Well, I mean, Ollie was there for years. Ollie was there for years. It's not just the stability. We're all saying stability now because we don't think that they're going to fire him. Where with Ollie, we thought he was going to get fired after every other match week.
But then that's the turmoil, though. So,
but yes, and I just think a lot of it's Ten Hag's a very good manager.
Yes, we should give credit for Ten Hag too.
I really think that's it for him. Ironically, you and I aren't going to agree on this, but I don't think manager of the month.
I think that. Man. So I'll tell you my top 2, and then I'll give you my third one. So I'll give you my top 3. No particular order here. It's either Arteta, Emery, or Cooper. No order.
You're gonna do De Zerbi like that?
Yes. Did you see who he coached or what it was that he played against that month? Hold on. It was Everton. It was home against Liverpool. And they drew against Leicester. If he had won against Leicester, it would have gone to him.
How far Liverpool have fallen, my God. Well, you didn't play anybody. You had Liverpool at home. God. Anyway, it's not a horrible point. I'm just saying it's crazy. All right, I need an order out of you. Who's your manager of the month?
I'm going to be a homer, and it's going to be Unai.
All right, so I did talk you into it.
Because, I mean, he lost to Liverpool, I know. But he also beat – I'm sorry. That was under December. They beat Tottenham. They drew to Wolves. They beat Leeds, and they beat Southampton.
So for me, it's I understand we're supposed to take the month in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
We're not supposed to look at anything else.
Mm-hmm.
If we're doing that, Cooper doesn't deserve it. I like Cooper. I know Forrest is a little bit on the up. They beat Leicester. They drew to Wolves. They drew Bournemouth. And their last two matches, yes, technically one of them was today, would have been against Manchester United, and they have lost 3-0 and then 2-0.
Yeah. Oh, nothing
So,
on aggregate. Oh, 5.
Cooper, I don't think Cooper's in there. He literally has a brand new team.
Every window. Well, I guess him and Potter have something in common.
If Arteta had won the Man City match, ironically, even though I think this would have been a worse manager performance, I really do. But if Arteta had played full strength and won the FA Cup match, I think he'd be a shoo-in for manager of the month.
Probably.
You beat both Manchester teams in 1 month. Like that does it.
Yeah.
However, I think what he did, and we're going to get into this in a little bit when we talk about the FA Cup, I think what he did was actually the smarter managerial move and doesn't get him that. I think that anyone, and I say this as an Arsenal fan, anyone who doesn't pick, and by the way, guys, this is my nickname for him when he used to manage us. It's Yui. I love Yui. It's Yui. Anyone who doesn't pick Yui is out of their mind. When you look at what he did, that Villa team looked lost. They looked like they had no idea how to play soccer or football or rounders or any other game you want to play. They looked like 11 random dudes on the field. And Yui has them playing really, really, really good football.
Yep. He's another one of those coaches like Ten Hag who gets the best out of all of their players.
Yeah, I feel bad for him to the point. I'm so happy he's back in the Prem.
Me too.
I feel bad for him because I really do not think that the issues that he had were his doing.
Yeah.
No, Arteta was needed because Arteta needed to bring the whole vision in, right? And Arteta needed to be that guy. He's like kind of being everyone compares him to Pep. He kind of reminds me how people talk about Ferguson.
Ooh.
Like I have no doubt the pubs around like London Colney, he has like them on speed dial.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Aaron Ramsdale's getting drunk again. Like I guarantee, I don't doubt it. You hear those stories about Ferguson. Arteta's that kind of guy. Yui isn't necessarily that kind of guy, but what he's done at Villa is amazing, and what he's done, I think, he deserves manager of the month.
My problem is it's kind of a popularity contest, and I just think Arteta's going to win no matter what.
Well, Arteta did in this month get Arsenal to 50 points halfway through the season.
Yeah, they beat United. Yeah, Jesus, they beat United. Apparently, this beer's going to me.
Right to
beat the Spurs.
Yeah, beat the Spurs. Yep.
And they drew against the other United, Newcastle.
Who doesn't draw against them?
Good point.
We're gonna get there. Everybody draws Newcastle. Jesus. Anyway, and maybe if they had a better FA Cup third round fixture, but it was Oxford United and I want to give technical director of the month though. I think's Edu for the way that he pivoted when we didn't get two of our top picks to who we ended up getting. We're gonna get into that too. Oh my God, I am so happy with this transfer window. I think Arsenal fans that aren't out of their minds. They're not realistic. Their
what
heads
would
aren't
they
there.
complain about?
Well, this is why you know how I feel about transfer rumors. They drive me absolutely crazy. They're insanity. But then people get attached, and then all the Mudryk Instagram free Mudryk crap went on, and he was liking it, and he definitely wanted to come here. We still don't know if he's actually any good. He's fast,
really fast,
and he appears to be technically gifted, right? And I'm pretty sure the reason that Mudryk is so fast is why everyone's like, every Arsenal fan who's not happy about Jorginho, why don't you like him? Oh, he's slow. That's not the position he plays. Like, it's fine.
He's meant to break down the defense.
Anyway, we're gonna get into all that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the big match that happened from the last time we talked.
Yep.
Number 1 meets number 2
Yep.
at the Etihad, FA Cup, Clash of the Titans. You almost fell asleep in the first half.
Yeah, it was pretty boring. But it was one of those borings where if you weren't into a feel 'em out boxing kind of style, then this wasn't your first half. Because that's what it was. It was just there was some excitement, but you know, it was one team trying to break down another team, and vice versa. Like that's just what was going on.
There's a couple things I noticed, and I noticed this immediately when lineups came out. They rotated almost exactly the same way. We rotated more guys, but they rotated pretty much exactly the same way. Mm-hmm. This is the City starting 11: Ortega in goal, yep. Ake, Akanji, and Stones, Rodri and Lewis, then Grealish, Gundogan, KDB, Mahrez, and Haaland.
Yep.
I saw that and I went, "Oh, that looks like goals." Especially when I saw ours. Matty Turner in goal. Great. Love it. I have no problem with Matt Turner. Arsenal fans who have a problem with him, it's just you don't like him because he's from the MLS. I don't know what else he has to do to prove himself. Tomiyasu, Holding, Big Gabby, Tierney. Tierney is now like solidly our second choice left back.
Mm-hmm.
We have good depth in some places.
Yeah. Do you think he could
Pablo Vieira?
Tierney.
He kind of played. He came in for Martinelli one game, which is odd. I would rather start Tierney at left back and put Zinchenko back into the midfield where he actually belongs.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, Pablo Vieira, Thomas Partey, and Granit Xhaka in the middle, and then Saka, Nicotea, and Trossard instead of Martinelli. So we definitely had a little bit more of a rotation going on, with very much heavy attacking. We'll see what happens on defense.
Yeah.
Now, again, Tommy is great. I love Super Tomiyasu. I love Kieran Tierney, right? Rob Holding is the question mark, especially with Haaland. So I just told you that defense, and I said what they put out for an attack. 0.5 expected goals. That makes me feel really good. And I understand a lot of it was we're feeling each other out. I totally get it. But you gotta, if you're Arsenal and that's what Man City does at the Etihad, you're not scared of them anymore.
Shouldn't be. I mean,
yeah.
It took a center back to score the goal. It wasn't even their offensive players. Now that doesn't mean that there couldn't have been something later on because it was like the 72nd minute. And why does it have to be a Dutch player? Matt Turner just had to get crushed.
Yeah.
The
that's
Dutch
it.
earlier.
All we got to do, that's why Haaland didn't score, so it's okay. Memphis Depay didn't come into the league. Everything's fine.
Yeah, that's it.
But Matty T definitely lets it up. I was kind of surprised with how bad City looked. For what was a pretty similar squad, I don't know if this is around the same time the Cancelo stuff was going on.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was really a dressing room issue. But they didn't look good. There was not a lot of cohesion. And there should be plenty of cohesion with that top five. Especially with Mahrez playing as good as he is. Haaland's a robot. De Bruyne's starting to get his legs back under him.
Yeah.
Grealish didn't even get fouled that many times.
Do you think they cared? I mean, seriously, do you think they cared? Like, if they won, that's great. But if they didn't, they're still chasing Champions League like we've discussed. So who cares?
And Arsenal came in. I agree. I absolutely agree. And I think Arsenal came in with the exact same mentality of if we win, great, and that's wonderful. But we want to win the Premier League.
Yeah.
So let's figure out how we want to play these guys. And then Man City did the same thing. Mm-hmm. We win, great, but we want to win the Champions League, and we got 5 points at least.
Yep.
If Arsenal win their game in hand at 8 points to make up on these guys, do we really need more games? Let's feel them out, see how we want to do. And I think both teams did exactly that, and that's why we ended up with a first half that was kind of whatever.
So I had a thought. Do you think it's Do you think it was like, no, you win, no, you win, no, you win, no, you win?
Not quite. Not quite. I was wondering about that, and I said this a couple times, especially the Liverpool Wolves in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Like when it was still drawn at like 90 minutes, I'm like, I swear, kick it to Van Dijk and have my own goal. Like honestly, you don't need the extra games. You guys are bad enough.
Yeah.
No, Arsenal definitely tried to get a goal in the end.
Yeah.
And
No,
right before, I forget who had the initial kick, but right before Man City scored, they hit the post.
It was Julian Alvarez.
Yeah, they were starting to jump in, but I mean that was the thing. That was the thing that was scary about City. Every time they subbed someone, it was just like, oh yeah, Alvarez is on the bench. Fuck.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, we kind of did the same thing. Like here comes Martinelli, here comes Saliba, here comes Zinchenko.
Makonga.
Oh no, not anymore. Off to Palace.
No, I know
Listen,
that, but for this game,
I like Sambi. I really do. I think Sambi just needs to be given the Saliba treatment. You're gonna be good. You are gonna be good. But right now, you got to go get your head screwed on straight.
Mm-hmm.
Probably more than Nuno treatment, to be honest.
Ooh.
Yeah. But anyway, no, I'm not surprised. I'm a little surprised with how. You know, we're in City's head with the way City came out because they like to come out and stranglehold.
Mm-hmm.
And two teams that love to dominate possession, it ended up 54-46.
Yeah, I see that.
I was very happy. You know, as happy as you can be over a loss. I'll also say this. A loss might have been exactly what we needed right now. Hey, guys, you've done all these great things.
Yeah. Okay.
And you still lost. This is not done. You still haven't beaten City. And in 2 weeks from, as we record it, 2 weeks from today, so just under 2 weeks from when you guys are hopefully listening, it's a Wednesday night at the Emirates. If Arsenal win that match, are they title favorites at that point?
Yes. Yeah. I don't see why not.
I mean, if they can beat City, I think
even if they draw City, take points. Even if they were to take points.
Yeah, we could draw one and lose one, and would still be 5 points up.
That's what I'm saying.
If we win our game in hand.
You have to just get points, and that's the follow the Newcastle way.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I know, but it'd be so nice to beat them.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, Fulham have had to replay Sunderland in the FA Cup.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. But that's what I love about the FA Cup.
So, yes, what's special about the FA Cup is the fact that you're probably, if you're an upper squad, you're going to rotate. Mm-hmm. And if you're a lower squad, you're probably going to keep the same players. So there's definitely more chemistry going on or form for particular teams versus somebody who's rotating. And I think this might have been the case for Fulham.
Yeah, I did not have a chance to watch. I just saw the Fulham treat of Sunderland. That's always just funny to me.
Yeah.
I know Wenger used to do that all the time. Wenger always rotated in the FA Cup. And he would keep it rotated, even into the finals. They would very heavily rotate.
Yeah.
And that's one of the other reasons why I love the FA Cup so much in all of our trophies, because like half of those were won with like B squads. That doesn't even make sense. But
check out our trophies. We just used the B squad on you guys. That's like Newcastle. They haven't. I put it down here for the Carabao Cup, but they haven't won a trophy. I think it was in 54 years. Yep. And Arsenal's just using their B squad to get FA Cups.
Yeah, it's just different, man. I am excited. I am actually really excited for the Manchester United Newcastle.
Wow. The United Cup?
Yeah, the United Cup. I'm very excited for that, mostly because I think Newcastle could stop Manchester United from getting it.
I would like to see them win a trophy. That'd be fun.
There was a true-false from the Sky Sports guys who did a true-false. United are more likely to get a trophy than Arsenal.
Ooh.
Because they're still in the FA Cup, the EFL Cup, the Europa Cup, and they're not really still in the Prem. They are, but we've talked about this before. And anyway, they're like, oh, no, it's United. It's definitely United because of the EFL Cup. And I would just love so much of
I mean, I guess sooner. They're going to get a cup sooner.
Well, I mean, I guess it is technically more likely just because of the number of things, but they drew Barcelona and Europa,
Nope.
and now they're starting to die. You got your injuries; they're starting to die off of it. They had that great little run of form, right?
Yep.
And then Arsenal's like, "Stop it, get back down."
Slap.
So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. They're also kind of like Arsenal, not quite the squad depth that you need just yet, especially not the way that Ten Hag wants to play. Brighton have beaten Liverpool for the third time this season.
Yep.
God in heaven, Klopp has to hate him.
He's just getting chased by seagulls.
He really is.
He's probably going to sleep dreaming of seagulls getting pecked. Us like,
he's got that. Have you seen the bad lip reading video with Yoda? And he's talking about seagulls attacking him on the beach and how they need to stop it. Bob's probably got that on repeat.
No, I haven't seen that one, but that's funny. But deserves all the credit because, I mean, this guy has been killing it with his squad.
Telling you, I think Brighton's one of those where the coach is just the coach, man. They're just a unit. Like everyone, yeah, like everyone around the development staff, the scouting, everything. They're so good. It's like Southampton did the same thing for years. They just always had talent.
Yeah.
They're like the Tampa Bay of, England. They're always tiny. They're always small. They never sign long contracts. They never have big trades, and they win 90 games a year.
And they turn a profit. Well, not Tampa, but Southampton would turn a profit.
Oh yeah. Wrexham and Sheffield United. What a match!
I didn't get to watch the highlights. Shame on me for that.
Wrexham lost, and then they won, and then they drew at the end. It was dirty. It was wonderful lower league FA Cup matchup. And then, of course, obviously everyone knows about it because of the whole Ryan Reynolds thing, which Rob McElhenney gets no love at all.
No,
bothers me. Because this was his idea.
I was going to say, he's a guy who was like, hey, I need big movie money.
Yeah. But it was cool to see the race course because I watched it. It was cool to see the race course full.
Yeah.
I think they're definitely on the up and up. I don't think we're going to see him in the Prem in 5 years because it takes too long. But they're on the up.
Players, it'd be wild.
Maybe you're always moving up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like the turnover in play. Like you always need to improve your squad to fit the league you're in. I don't think they would.
When you got Hollywood money, though, you can get guys to drop down a couple leagues.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now, Paul Mullen was one of those guys. He was in League 1 or League 2, I think.
One, I think.
And he dropped down to play with them.
Yeah, but
mostly because of the money, and he scores goals all the time.
And his family was in Wales, that particular part of Wales.
I know, it's not like Wales is that big. Wales is like the size of the southern tier in New York.
But
it's literally like the Adirondacks. It's about that big.
Well,
less snow, more sheep. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Transfer window.
Hell yeah.
In the January window alone, Chelsea signed 9 players.
Yeah. Was it 9 or 10?
You have 9. You're the one who wrote it. I
think it's actually 10 because I think they snagged somebody and I forgot to count them. But
dude, I can't count that high anyway. Who cares?
It's just so impressive. I hate it, and it's impressive at the same time at the fact that they were able to pull so many strings and not be financial fair played for this. It's incredible. Like somebody somewhere, some lawyer read it where it was like, if they
everyone's doing this. Everyone's saying this. I think they're the only ones who have just been dumb enough to go for it.
Well, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then they're dumb. And we just say, this is
the
terrible.
army of lawyers that Manchester City and PSG have.
Yeah. And
none of them wrote that. None of them read the fine print on that. I don't believe it.
Well, it takes an American, damn it.
Oh,
All right, well, can't lose.
I don't know. It is high risk. You're going to have a lot of dead weight if these contracts don't work
Todd Bowley can pay for it, apparently.
because no one's going to want them.
No, well, that's what I was
You're
saying.
going to have problems moving the players you got. Listen, I know that Jorginho's like a little bit beyond his prime, but $12 million to
Still
a London
useful.
rival. You have the Prem tax, you have the London tax, and it was $12 million. Like that's a steal.
I think it was 10 plus 2 add-on. So
It-
whatever the
it's no
add-on,
one-
if he doesn't hit the add-on, then it's only 10 million.
Well, the add-on is probably Arsenal finish above us in the league or something like
Or
obvious.
like win the league or whatever. Win
I
something.
just I don't know. I think Enzo Fernandez for 120 is silly. Is he very good? Yes. I don't 120. That is a lot, and they had to go up that high. This whole thing was a mess. Hey, we're gonna pay his release clause just so you know we're contacting him. All right, that sucks. We're gonna try to talk to him. Oh, he doesn't want to talk to us. I guess he's going to Chelsea. And then Chelsea come back and go, oh, actually, we don't want to pay his release clause. Will you take 80?
yeah,
And they're like, no, screw you. And this
You
deal
s-
seemed dead in the water. And then they came back and said, okay. What if it's 120, but we pay it in installments? What if I think it was originally like, what if it's 105? We pay in installments, because that's one of the things about release clauses.
Mhm.
Release clauses, at least all the ones I've heard about, have to be paid in full.
That's fair.
So
Yeah.
now you have to do installments, and they said no, screw you, 120 or nothing, and they finally said okay, fine. So it should have been 105. It maybe even could have been 80, and now it's 120. And they can't get the paperwork right to loan away a guy who's not going to see the field anymore because of the 15 wingers above him. And people are like, oh my God, Todd Bowley's a genius. I'm like, Todd Bowley can't even sign stuff correctly.
They were too busy bringing in people that they forgot how to loan people out.
That's bad. That's bad. And apparently they got the paperwork wrong 3 times.
Oh my God, that's even worse. I didn't know about that. I knew they got paperwork wrong. I didn't know that.
No, it's wrong. Resend it. No, still wrong. Resend it. No, it's wrong, and it's after 11 now. And then I don't know why the PSG appealed to like a court, and the court's like, no, he has to stay. And I'm like, what the hell is happening?
We can't have PSG be this good.
I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway, the question you had, with this much quality they brought in, with as much quality as they brought in, they're surely going to get a Champions League spot at the end of the year.
Yeah. I still say yes.
Absolutely not.
Look, I'm not saying Newcastle are going to – nope. You know what? Newcastle have been showing a little chink in the armor. There's a possibility that they could fall out of the top 4. Only a possibility. They have scored plenty of points, but
you're thinking about this backwards, though. Like, yes, could one of the teams in the top 4 fall out? Absolutely. Chelsea's 10th. There are 5 teams above them that are going to snatch up that before they do. For Chelsea to get a top 4 spot, they would have to be perfect for the rest of the season. They would have to be absolutely perfect. Potter doesn't even know what side he wants to play. He doesn't even know what team he has at any given moment. Who's available, who's not, who is injured. So you have Enzo Fernandez and Mudryk. Kai Havertz, they still didn't get a striker. Like the one thing they had to do. Yes, they do.
Not for this season. They have Nkunku coming.
Yes, they have him coming. We're talking about this year. The question is, do they get into a Champions League spot this year?
Oh, fine.
No. Why?
Yes.
They do not score enough goals. It is that simple. They do not score enough goals.
But they have plenty of
Aubameyang is washed up. Kai Havertz is playing out of position.
Yeah, it's a winger.
I don't understand. So on top of that, and on top of the fact that Potter still doesn't know who he wants to play, they still have to play against Newcastle. They will not score. They had to play everyone twice but Liverpool. They will not score against Newcastle. Newcastle doesn't let anyone score in them. And they have a problem with scoring. They have to play United at Old Trafford. They have to play Arsenal at the Emirates. They have to play City at the Etihad. They have to play Spurs at Tottenham Stadium. And they're still in the Champions League, and they have Dortmund. They're going to really struggle to put a run together, and they have to be essentially perfect to get in top 4. They're 10 points off the pace.
Okay.
So one of the teams has to drop out.
Yep.
And then Spurs have to drop a bunch of points. Brighton have to drop a bunch of points. Fulham have to drop points. Brentford have to drop points. And Liverpool need to continue to be bad. All of those things need to happen. And they need to essentially win out in order for them to have a spot. Because they've also played 20 games. They have 18 matches to make up 10 points.
I would say that they could probably pick up a quick few points, and maybe not based off of those top teams like Newcastle, who don't give up goals, Arsenal, who don't quite give up as many. They give up more goals than Newcastle, but not quite as many. And City and United. But
Arsenal actually has a better expected goals against than Newcastle do at this point in the season. Yes, Newcastle has less goals, and absolutely they deserve that. But don't give up goals and don't give up goals. Both those teams. You're going to struggle to score against either one of them.
I was going with where I was going with this was the element of surprise, and maybe the fact that the amount of overwhelming players that they have, that they would have to scout against. And I'm being very narrow-minded right now because I'm sure they have tape on all the players, so it doesn't really matter. But when you put them all under one roof, it could change some of the dynamic to make it possible for them to push for top 4.
And I'm not saying that Chelsea is going to continue being a bad team. They're going to struggle to put a run of form together because they won't score enough goals.
And I've always preached team cohesion too. So
that's just the truth. They have no team cohesion because literally everybody got there yesterday.
Right.
And Potter still doesn't know what side he wants to play. His 11 is going to be different for the next 5 matches still, when his 11 has been different for every single match he's played essentially since he got there.
Well, maybe they can actually find some.
But none of those are my reason why Chelsea isn't going to be in the top 4.
No, you're saying that there's other teams that are better ahead of them.
Yeah, too many other teams have to be bad. Too many other teams have to turn off. Newcastle has to suddenly quit defending. United, who's probably going to finish 3rd, let's be honest.
I could see that. It's not hard.
Has to suddenly be very bad. Yes, United got outplayed by Arsenal on that match, right? But they were coming off of a victory against City. They're going to the EFL Final. They're a good team. Tottenham have to completely fall apart.
So shoot for Europa. That's possible.
Maybe they are. I think I'd be happy to be in the Conference League. You know, Fulham's winning. Brentford's winning. Brighton. All these well-disciplined teams now suddenly have to lose all the time. And then you just said, well, I don't know about the big teams. All right. So, Arsenal at the Emirates. Who do you think wins that match?
Arsenal.
All right. So, they have 18 times 3. They have 54 possible more points that they can get.
Mm-hmm.
Except for now it's 51. Old Trafford against Man United. Old Trafford against Man United. Who do you think wins that match?
Draw.
Okay. So now it is 50 possible points.
Mm-hmm.
City at the Etihad.
City. Yeah.
So now it's, and you see my point, and now we go down and we go down and we go down, and you need all the points you can get to make up on all these other teams.
Yeah.
The only big team that they don't have to play again is Liverpool, and they just drew a scoreless draw against a defense that can't tie its own shoes. Yes, I understand that was pre-Enzo, and he will be their savior. I just too many things going against
Yeah,
Chelsea right now.
that's fair. I
Now,
was
Champions
trying to
League
make a
next
case.
year,
Yeah.
I could absolutely see it.
I would be more than shocked if they weren't the favorites for next year.
You think they're top 4 favorites next year, or do you
Heck
think
yeah.
they're Prem favorites?
Oh, I think they're Brent favorites next year.
I don't. I think
I'd
they're
be more
good.
than shocked.
I think they're probably going to be good. I don't know how you spend this much money and not be good.
That's
But
what bettors will look at.
yeah, all right. I'm
Odds
talking
makers.
about real. You're talking about odds. You're talking about Vegas.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is enough. That is enough Chelsea. I'm sick of the word Chelsea.
Sorry for all those people named Chelsea.
Yeah, sorry your parents suck. Title contenders Arsenal did a very good job. I think Arsenal, of the top 4, not including Chelsea, of the top, we didn't spend $300 million people. I think Arsenal had the best transfer window.
Yeah, I would say based off of the fact that they got pieces like what they needed. They got Trossard, another creative ball carrier who can score. They got Jorginho on the cheap, who also scores a bunch of PKs. Really reliable at that. He passes the ball really well. He makes long distribution passes. So I think there was something else where the tackling rate was really high. He's a really well-rounded player.
Better defensive stats this year than Thomas Partey does.
I mean,
not by a lot, but still better.
Do you plug him in right away?
No. He is going to be our Europa and our, hey, we are up 3 with 20 minutes left.
See this
Let's
out.
not lose Partey in the last 20 minutes. Because Partey is he understands exactly how the team works. I do not plug him in right away. But Partey's 29 and Xhaka's the wrong side of 30.
31.
And El Neni is probably,
Also
I hate to say it, El Neni has probably played his last match for Arsenal. Because we're probably moving him in the summer, and I don't think he's coming back.
I think he's out of contract at that point.
So we need the coverage. Especially with El Neni gone, we need the coverage. But right now, I don't know if you play anyone over Partey. Because the thing that Partey does really well is he does have better pace. I'm not saying pace has no meaning. He does have better pace. And he scored 2 absolute bangers this year. And having that ability to break down a team, which is something that we really needed against Newcastle, was that long looping shot that opened up the Spurs game in the first North London derby. Where once he hit that corner shot, the whole game opened up because now they have to play more on the offensive, and Jorginho can't do that. No. But for $12 million, we got statistically the best defensive centered defensive mid, best number 6, I should say, in the league right now, from a rival for cheap because we know that they have to get rid of him. And here's the thing that Arsenal did that shows Arsenal's improvement. Trossard got a 3-year contract, and Jorginho got a 1.5-year contract with an option. In the past, that would have been 5 years and 3 years, no doubt.
Yeah.
We gave Willian a 3-year contract for no reason.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those they got so much better with handling that aspect of it, and part of it's because go to the Premier League favorites right now, absolutely.
That does kind of help, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Being on top instead of being 8th. Oh, you look like a better place to go. The other thing is Jorginho has won the Champions League. He's won Euros. People talk about that mentality that Zinchenko and Jesus brought. You know, he's going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, no, it's so critical. The mentality of winning these types of trophies, of being able to see a match out under high pressure, to
the discipline of every single you play every 3 days.
So critical.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
That's so critical. I think that the 10 million plus 2 that they might have to spend on him is a bargain.
I agree. And a lot of people are bringing up he was third in Ballon d'Or in 2021. I'm like, well, that shouldn't have been, let's be honest. But it proves how highly rated he can be.
Yeah.
What I love is he's one of those guys, he doesn't have the pace, but he knows exactly where to be at all times.
Smart man, intelligence.
Is that intelligence not what you want the younger guys to be soaking up?
Or it's literally this is the perfect transfer for Arsenal.
The competition, the competitiveness, the discipline, the knowledge. A lot of people were joking. Arteta signed himself. Because they kind of did. Like, honestly, he went out and got himself. He's loved Jorginho forever. There's interviews going back to 2019 where he talks about being in love with Jorginho and how he thinks that the number 6 is an underutilized position and how he tried to get him at Man City before Chelsea got him when Jorginho transferred from, I believe, Napoli.
Something like that. I couldn't tell you.
He was just in love with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And now the guys that we're in love with cost 12. Yes, Caicedo would have been great, but I don't think we need Caicedo and Rice. Now, come the summer, we do need to get one of them.
Who do you go for?
Rice. Rice has better ball carrying and better passing. Caicedo is one of those jack of all trades guys, but jack of all trades, master of none type of deal. Declan Rice does things from the number 6 position with ball distribution that like nobody else does.
Yeah,
his line breaking passes are
either or. I could take either or.
I mean, I would be happy with Caicedo.
What's that?
I mean, I'd be happy with Caicedo.
So if it was 70 million next summer, because winter window is more expensive than summer window. So if they come back with 70 million and 5 add-ons, 5 an add-on. But let's say Declan is 85 plus 10 million add-ons.
Just want to look up one thing.
Because I think
Caicedo.
Yeah.
And the main reason why is I think Rice might be $10 million more of a player than Caicedo is.
Mm-hmm.
But Caicedo's 2 years younger. That is the entirety of my thought process. However, this is why I think we're going to get Rice. Because West Ham are going to need the money when they're in the championship.
That's possible.
And Rice is going to be like, I ain't hanging around here anymore, guys.
I don't know.
I am out.
I'm signing for somebody for 50.
Well, Brighton might go, we need Caicedo when we're in Europa.
I mean, I get that.
There's a chance. There's a chance. Whoever wins the FA Cup will probably be in the top 4. So 5th and 6th are going to get Europa League spots. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if one of them was Brighton. Yeah. And if not, they're in the Conference League. You know, I wouldn't. Really? I think Rice will actually be cheaper in the summer.
Probably, I wouldn't be surprised. With that logic in hand, yes.
Yep. Teams that help themselves: Bournemouth, Leeds. I mean, who doesn't love the U.S. men's national team? Leicester, Newcastle went and got Gordon.
Yeah. I think that
and
was
Forest. Forest have Keylor Navas. What a weird world we live in.
That's such a good move. I love that move for them.
Union Berlin almost getting Isco was like the craziest thing I've seen.
And then he failed Battlecalls, which is kind of sad. Union Berlin's in the top 3, but that's a whole different league for a whole different podcast. Yes. Somebody else can take care of, and that's not us.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I love the Keylor Navas deal.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
It's only a loan. No obligation to buy, or no buy clause, but
the dude's Asian. It can't be an obligation to buy.
Right there. What you probably wouldn't, but you would want some sort of buy clause in there, and I can understand why there wouldn't be for PSG purpose.
Yeah, they don't care. Everton got worse again.
So considerably.
They're
prepping themselves. That's why they went and got
yeah.
Sean
I
Dyche.
thought that they always say the same thing. You lose $40 million when you go from the Prem to the Championship.
So they're just padding their pocket.
And they sold Gordon for 45.
Yeah, so they're padding their pocket.
And it's like they know. All right.
Their biggest
upcoming fixtures.
Yeah.
And then true false.
Fine.
Love true false segment, guys. Upcoming fixtures that you are excited for: Chelsea Fulham. Obviously, I can't wait to see Fulham slap them.
I was more inclined to seeing all the new players and how they're going to meld together.
Yeah, do they just slot right in? They play on Friday.
Yeah, 3:00.
There's no way Fernandez is in the squad. There's no way he starts.
Why not?
If he does, Potter's giving up. Wolves, Liverpool.
Fit. He would be match fit. Why wouldn't he?
Just because you should have some kind of system that has to be learned.
Somebody recently did that where they just threw their player in.
Well, Ancelotti just came out saying that he doesn't really have a system because he wants them to be pliable. And all I can think is Barcelona had to pull 27 freaking levers to still be a team, and you're behind them. Figure it out.
Funny thing is I don't. This is a few days ago, and I don't remember if it's happened or not. But they signed Pedri to a new contract, and they couldn't register him because of how much money they still owe. There's so much S going on there. It's incredible.
What an absolute mess. Yeah, Barcelona just won again today. I know they're not the league that we're actually
good
talking
for them,
about, but
5
points clear of Real Madrid. But yeah, no, Ancelotti, you want them to be pliable. It was 18 months ago. Everton had Ancelotti and Jaime Rodriguez, and now they are going down. Anyway, other match, big deal. It's amazing that it is, but it is. Wolves, Liverpool.
I got to be honest. Before we step into this match week kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. It was very slim pickings for what I'm really looking for. Yes, if you're a fan of the team, you should be. It's an exciting week for you.
There's no big
soccer
matchups.
Is always great, but that's it.
They put the Manchester Derby and the North London Derby on the same weekend twice.
Oh, that's just bad.
Yeah, that's gonna not spread it out.
This Wolves Liverpool, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like every single matchup you look at,
I'm not impressed.
You think obvious winner,
pretty much, or
you do. I mean, Chelsea, Fulham, I think could do it.
They could, but I see that as being a draw.
Arsenal have not won at Goodison Park in 4 years, in 5 years actually. Really? They've lost their last 4 trips to Goodison Park.
Well, that'll break.
I'm hoping. I mean, last year when we lost to them, it was like a aberration that shouldn't happen. Now it's like we definitely need to beat these guys.
Screamer by Damari Gray in like the 92nd minute. I remember that.
Yeah, he hit some screamers, doesn't he? But then Villa, Leicester City. I mean, rivalry house in the Aaron Slater, Ellie household.
And also it's a Midland derby, so it's pretty fun.
It is a Midland derby. But Villa's got to be favorites in that right now.
I would think so.
That might be like that, and Chelsea Fulham are probably the closest matches on paper, at least on odds. Brentford Southampton shouldn't be close. Brighton Bournemouth shouldn't be close.
Absolutely.
United Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace only got a draw last time off of a miracle goal, and that was at Selhurst Park at Old Trafford. I don't see it happening.
No, they're gonna get slapped.
Liverpool Wolves, like we said, between Lopetegui and Klopp, 2 managers heading in opposite directions. If Wolves win this, I do not want to hear anything more about them going down.
If Wolves win this, it's because Liverpool's missing Virgil van Dijk and Conte.
That is true.
Are injured.
Not Conte, not Conte.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Hold on.
Anyway, Newcastle, West Ham should be an obvious winner.
You're right. It's Konate.
Forest Leeds. Forest Leeds should be another good match.
That one actually I was looking forward to be honest.
McKenny gets in there, you think?
You just said, why would you bother putting in Enzo? Don't even
Jesse Marsh is a wild man. I'm getting to the point that when I see a picture of Jesse Marsh, my mind plays that scene from It's Always Sunny where Charlie Day just goes, wild card, bitches, and jumps out the back of the van. That's Jesse Marsh to me right now. I love him. I want the best for him, but that's what I think when I see him.
I think this game is going to be I like watching any Leeds match because of the volume of pace that this is put on. And I think Forest are probably going to have a hard time keeping up with it. I could see it being a 2-1 Leeds.
Antonio Conte-less Spurs face Manchester City at home.
Do you think do you think the Spurs are going to be better without Conte?
No. I don't know. No, guys. Conte wins everywhere he goes. He's not winning now because it's Spurs, not the other way around.
Oh, okay.
Let's get that straight. Let's just get that 100% straight. I want a complete recreation of the last match. Everyone's like, "Oh, you were rooting for Man City." No. I was never rooting for Spurs to beat Man City. I would never do that. If Spurs just need a draw against the smallest team in the world for Arsenal to win the league on the last Super Sunday, I would still hope that Spurs lose.
So I'm reading some of the match insights here. This matchup has not drawn in the last 7 matchups with each other. So you're going to get goals here.
Spurs does that against top 6 teams. Apart from Chelsea. They always draw to Chelsea. But going into those last 10 North London derbies haven't drawn either.
They actually, Tottenham rank second away from home as well. So maybe this weekend's the weekend that they draw. I doubt it.
I was going to say, they are home, right? That away from home thing doesn't help. I have no idea why it's up on FOTMob, but
sometimes I think FOTMob's kind of lazy.
Oh, they are. There's so many games. You and I experienced some of that during the World Cup. There's so much.
You know what? You're right. I'm sorry, FOTMob. Do what you're doing.
Oh, they're better than One-Football. The write-ups on One-Football have been awful, and I know they pull from other places, but they switch Saliba and Big Gabby all the time to the point that I think it's an inside joke that I'm not in. It's always switched. If one of them gets a card, they blame the other one. If one of them scores, they give it to the other one. I'm like, what is happening?
One has better teeth.
One has better teeth. One has hair.
That's all you need to do.
One is very Brazilian, and the other one is very, very French.
We.
No. Not we. Have you heard him talk?
No.
It is the deepest voice. Saliba's voice is so deep. It's like, hey, Saliba, how do you like being back at Arsenal this year? And he's like, I am enjoying it very much. What is happening? Anyway, on to what is fast becoming our favorite segment. True, false. I know I have more questions than you, so I am going to go first.
Yeah, hit it.
Oh, no, I only have 2 questions now because I just realized we already talked over my first one. My first one was going to be Chelsea finish above Spurs.
Yeah, well.
If I haven't convinced you out of that, I don't know what to do. So my second one, which we did kind of already talk about, Dyche will manage Everton next year.
Yeah, in the championship.
Yep, that was actually the end of that's it. That's it. There's nothing even to do. That was the end of my question. I was doing the whole in the championship. Nope, we're already on the same page. Second time that's happened to me today. It's been great. All right, so my first 2 were kind of gimmies. Go ahead and hit me with yours.
Okay, Mudryk will be the best player for the rest of the season.
You know what? That was almost my question. My question was going to be that Mudryk will score more goals than Haaland in the second half.
Oh, that would be fun.
My answer is no. He will not be the best player.
Yeah.
But I do think he will be in the top 10, maybe even the top 5.
Okay.
The problem with best player in the second half, Son seems to start kind of be finding his form.
His face isn't messed up.
Holland has had a little bit of a dip, but then can easily come back. We still haven't seen Kevin De Bruyne be his best yet.
Mm-hmm.
Is Rashford ever going to stop scoring? Again, it's the same thing with the whole Chelsea thing. I'm not down on Mudryk. I think Mudryk's actually going to be very good.
Yeah.
My problem is he going to have, we talked about stability with Rashford. Is he going to have the stability around him to perform at his best?
That's fair.
But I do think he's going to be very good. I'm curious. There are so many other Premier League guys who have been in this league for a while or are robots that just might be too good. I mean, people would be talking about Eddie. We haven't talked about Eddie once. People would be talking about Eddie all the time, apart from how good Rashford's been. Mm-hmm. Right? So Rashford needs to fall off. Eddie needs to fall off. Son needs to continue his downward trajectory. Son was a Golden Boot winner last year. Like, we're all down on him, but he was really good. I just think there are too many guys above Mudryk, and Mudryk's coming from the Ukrainian league to the Premier League.
Yeah.
Now, short list for best player of the year next year. Yeah, Mudryk could definitely be it. I like that Arsenal got Trossard. I would have rather had Mudryk. Not for that price. But I'm not taking copium and being like, oh, Trossard's better.
I don't think Mudryk would actually fit with Arsenal. For the 20 minutes I watched him, he seemed very much like a selfish player. And I think that's why he fits better with Chelsea than he would have with Arsenal. I think there's too much sharing. Not too much sharing. There's a lot of sharing that goes on. Fluidity is the word I'm looking for with Arsenal's attacking front. And there's nothing wrong with being selfish to a point. And I just think that would have messed up a little bit. Have messed up Arsenal's.
I understand exactly what you're saying. You can be too selfish, but you can also be too unselfish. Passive. I think he's going to fit Chelsea really well because Chelsea need a guy who's going to bring the ball forward and then not hold up play.
They also
as much as I love Pulisic, he does that.
Yeah.
And Sterling also does that.
Yeah. We discussed this a bunch.
Just keep driving forward. Just keep driving forward. So I think
it gives that nice outlet for Sterling when he does cutting right across the 6 and
which is one of the reasons why Sterling was so good at the City because he had the guys who would bring it forward. He wasn't the guy who had to. All right. Yeah. My last question for you.
Yep.
Fulham will finish above both Liverpool and Brentford.
False. I think we are starting to see a chink in their armor as well. More so than Newcastle. I think Newcastle has a very good back four and Nick Pope.
You really don't think Cedric Suarez is going to be the answer to all of Fulham's needs?
Ooh, good point. No. No. I think a bunch of this tournament play has kind of worn them down, and they're going to be very happy to be back playing on the weekends again.
Yeah, I think to a certain point, Fulham's kind of playing with house money.
Yes.
And they're like, if we just do what we need to do, we're probably still going to be in the top 10.
Yeah.
Because apart from Villa coming up, which I do think Villa comes up, Palace, downward trend, Forest, don't believe them, City, Leicester City haven't proven anything to me. They're just got to sit here like, we just got to ride. Top 10 in the Prem, baby.
Do you think that inspires complacency, though? I still don't think that. I think 11th would be the worst Fulham could do.
I don't think it's going to inspire complacency because it's Fulham. And no matter what, you got promoted this year.
Yep.
There's no we're here. We're a mid-table team. No, we were in the championship last year. And they're not like Forest, where no one who got them to the Prem is no longer with the team. Yeah, they got Willian. Yeah, they got Cedric Suarez now. Yeah, Bernd Leno's with them now, but like they still have a core of people who came from the championship
Mhm.
and are not going to be taking any of this for granted.
I also think Fulham's too big to go back down to the championship. Like,
I
there's
don't know
certain
about too
clubs
big.
that
They were
shouldn't be
pretty
down
big
there, and
picked.
Fulham are one of them.
Look at who's going to go down.
Well, that's because they were mismanaged.
At least one of these four are going to go down between Southampton, Everton, Wolves, and West Ham. One of those four at least will go down. I still have, I have three of them going down. Maybe, two of them going down.
That's
I don't
fair.
know. Bournemouth
I mean,
hasn't shown me anything.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right, hit me with your last true false.
This one is more of a well, screw it, just hit you. FA needs to come up with a cap for overspending. A hard cap, like football, basketball, hockey. I don't watch enough hockey to know. So,
well,
my point is
hockey has plenty of loopholes. The Lightning used that in that year that they had like the best season ever, except for the Bruins are about to have the best season ever. So, anyway, for our non-American listeners, we are very used to salary caps. You can only pay so much in salary to certain players.
Mhm.
However, much like American football fans love the whole you can't end a game in a tie, even though you certainly can, American sports fans forget an awful lot of the time that there's almost always ways around the salary cap.
Mhm.
So you pay out more money in bonuses.
Yep.
In baseball, it's not a salary cap. It's called the luxury tax, where after you hit a certain threshold, you start getting taxed on what you're overspending. And it does deter teams to a point. I mean, my Red Sox had to let Mookie Betts go because to sign him to the contract that we would have needed to keep him here would have cost like $400 million in luxury tax payments alone. Not even to his contract. We were completely upside down on contracts at that point, and they have fixed that issue since then, but it can be a huge deterrent. The problem with a hard spending cap is a hard spending cap breeds complacency. So this is the other thing. We don't have relegation.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not going to put a spending cap on a team like Forest who wants to stay in the Premiership and has got their money just right to get to the point where they say, when we get there, we have the money to spend to stay there. However, just because of amortization and spreading it out over a year, £600 million, he spent more than leagues. That's so now how do you fix that without screwing it up? And what do you say? Oh, you can only spend 500 million? Like that for 99% of the teams, that doesn't do anything, right? So what was financial fair play supposed to be? You can't spend more money than you make. It's actually a decent idea in principle. It's just it's not implemented correctly. It's the same thing as VAR. VAR is a great idea. We talked about this last time. Problem with VAR is we still say, well, don't make the ref on the field mad. No, the ref with the 15 camera views should be able to override the ref on the field with one in the moment as I'm running. Mm-hmm. So financial fair play, I think the spending cap should be you can't spend more money than you make. So then the problem becomes, okay, I'm owned by a country and the country has an airline and the airline just gave us $200 million for a sponsorship deal. Mm-hmm. So my owner's still pumping money into me anyway. So no, I don't know how to fix it. The answer is yes. Castle in the Cloud me says yes. True. The logical realist person in me goes, I have no idea how you implement it.
That's fair. I think true is the answer, but I think that Chelsea are such a one-off that we don't see this enormous kind of spending in one time.
Yeah.
City have done it, but they do it like, 80 million here, 80 million there kind of deal. It's not
When City first got bought, they had the biggest transfer window in the history of the world in that 2012 season, I think,
something like that.
when they brought in everybody.
Yeah.
It's time makes us forget. And now they have a much more sustainable business model. But so what Chelsea is doing is Chelsea's trying to be City.
Yeah.
Chelsea said City did this 10 years ago, and now look at City. They've won 4 out of 5.
I guess that's not a bad model to follow.
It's not.
If you have the money to go ahead and do that. But, man, does it feel like you're pissing on everybody else?
Well, you are pissing on everyone else. But is it fair? So because you are willing to pay 10 million more in add-ons and spread out the contract, is it fair that you were able to get Mudryk over Arsenal? Probably.
Yeah.
The Enzo Fernandez thing. Was that fair? Yes. It was an agreement made between parties. Everyone said okay. The idea in American sports is American sports fans have this love obsession with this word called parity. We love the underdog so much in this country that we want a different person to win the Super Bowl every single year. That's just the way it is. And if you win it more than we decide that you should be allowed to, it's screw this guy to eternity. He could be the greatest guy in the world. People are getting sick of Russell Wilson. People got sick of Peyton Manning. People got sick of everybody. It's, oh, no, he doesn't deserve it, which I think is kind of funny because while I think the country is mostly going to be pulling for the Eagle and Jalen Hurts, I hear a lot of people like, oh, the Chiefs deserve it. Yeah, okay, the Chiefs deserve it, but Brady never did. Whatever. But that's the American sports fan, right? So we're Americans, and you're dealing with the complete lack of parity in the Premier League. And to a certain point, you have to say, is that bad? Chelsea didn't really win much of anything before Abramovich decided to buy them.
You bring that up. I don't actually think it's that bad, especially considering this year. Or look at who's in the top 10. There's definitely parity that's been going on. We're getting it this year. But it's not sustainable in some sense. Their parity isn't sustainable. It's
sustainable in the right form. If you So everyone says it's not sustainable because Brighton, look at Brighton. They're going to get their bones picked over, right?
Yeah.
Well, look at Brighton. Chelsea stole their heart and their kidneys. Cucurella's gone. Potter's gone. Just want to look up something real quick to make sure I don't make a ass.
To be honest, I think Brighton really cashed in on the Cucurella bet.
No, that's the point I'm building to.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't say his name. It's a different team. But they stole their heart and their kidneys, right? And now look at where Brighton are. So then Arsenal comes and says, "Hey, Brighton, you sell to all the big teams. Here's 75 million for Sassedo," and Brighton says, "Get out of here. He's not for sale."
Yeah.
That is, they know who to get rid of and who not to. I'm telling you, look at the whole Potter thing. Is Graham Potter a good manager? Yes, obviously. He's a good manager. Is he a great manager? I don't know. I would have said yes. Everyone would have said yes. Oh, look at Graham Potter. He's just this guy who keeps little old Brighton. You remember Brighton, don't you? They had a crap stadium, and they used to be big, but now they're not, and now they're up and coming. And now you look at Brighton. They are 5 points behind Tottenham. They are ahead of Chelsea. They are ahead of Liverpool. They are ahead of Palace. They are ahead of Leicester City. They are ahead of West Ham.
All these teams who have been in the Premier League for a while.
And they've had De Zerbi for how long at the helm? 2 of their 3 wins against Liverpool came with him this season. I think Brighton went, have Potter. It's fine. I mean, yeah, no,
We're
he's
done
good. He's good. Don't get me wrong, but that's not why we're winning.
We're done with him.
Oh, yeah, no, go have Kukurea. It's fine.
We're done with him too.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. It's fine. Move on. And again, I'm going to say it. Same thing as Tampa Bay Rays. The second anyone trades for a Tampa Bay Ray player, the thought that runs through my head is what's wrong with him. Because it's that they only move on from guys when they're not worth it anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Sasado wants to leave. Sasado put out an Instagram post. I'm so happy. I'm going to bring the highest in history transfer fee to Brighton. You guys, this is how I'm going to repay you. He basically handed in a transfer request via Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, no. Now, yes, if Arsenal came and said, here's $100 million, we'll take them.
You do not.
Then they would probably say, yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But they said, no, he's not for sale. They know exactly what they're doing. So I think Brighton stays up. Now, yes, Fulham, Brentford, I don't know if that's sustainable. But this is the way it's always been. This is the way it is in football to a point.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone likes to talk about the parity of football. The New England Patriots have been to the AFC Championship game 12 times in the last 20 years. At one point, it was just called the Tom Brady Invitational. It was such a mess. You look at baseball, Houston Astros, LA Dodgers, always in it. The only reason why the Houston Astros and the LA Dodgers haven't been the two teams to win every single baseball league is because we play playoffs at the end of it, and in the playoffs, anything can happen.
Yep.
If we go off regular season wins, it would have been those two teams, apart from 18 when the Red Sox had 108 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, it would have been those two teams. So there's not any less parity in the Premier League. There's just not the playoffs at the end of it.
That's fair.
I mean, that is 100% my take.
Yeah.
The Chiefs would already be champions again.
Yeah.
The Chiefs would have won how many of the last years? How many times have they had the best record in the last 5 years? Probably three times at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
three times at least. So the difference is that the league is more fair because it's about what you do in the league. Now, in football, you can't do it because you get to play 17 or now 18. No, yes,
18.
now 18 games. In the Premier League, you play everyone twice. Baseball could do this. You think after 162 games, we don't know who the best team is?
Yeah.
We could do it if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Just Americans love playoffs.
And money.
Then you know what? Do a tournament. Do a separate tournament. You can't. The baseball schedule is packed. And you can't with football because brain injuries.
It's true.
I'm serious.
It's very true. It's just caught me off guard.
You could maybe with hockey. I mean, look at the Tampa Bay Lightning that year that they got trounced by, I think it was 1920, when they got trounced by the Hurricanes or whoever it was. They were the best team that the league has seen in since the Red Wings won everything.
Yeah.
And they lost 4 straight games in the playoffs and were done. And it's like, okay, so now the best team isn't going to win the Stanley Cup this year because the best team was the Lightning. They proved it over 82 games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a bad thing. My problem, coming back to the original thing, is I don't like the sports washing. I don't like when, we're going to have the World Cup in Qatar because it's okay. I'm a Russian oligarch who keeps a dictator in power, but it's okay because I own Chelsea. That's my issue.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right, that was probably the longest true false we'll ever have.
And yeah, longest podcast we probably have.
You opened up like a little vein of something that we've been
impressive.
We've been trying. I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, and once you opened it, I just no, I'm running with it. It's fine.
This boo boo's bleeding.
Yeah, right. No, it's sorry. As a American sports fan and a fan of a lot of European teams, of a fan of European soccer. It's something that I try to make sense with a lot. So I definitely have thoughts on it. Anyway, I just got done, as we go into vamping, I just got done recording The Way West Stand with Brian. That is going to be out before this is out by a couple hours. So if you were listening to this and you do like listening to me talk, go talk to that. If you just listen to that rant and don't want to listen anymore, I totally understand. This guy does the Villa. You get no points for guessing what that's about. No episode this week because nothing really happened with you guys.
Yep,
no transfer news, no FA Cup, no nothing.
Nope. Pretty boring.
But I'm sure there will be one next week.
Yep, you bet your
Apart from that,
pecans.
Yeah, exactly. Apart from that, we are sitting at a nice even 25 subscribers as I talk about this. I'd love to see 50. So if you're listening to this, give a subscription, especially if you made it this long. If you made it this long, you should be subscribed.
Thank God for those 25 people. We appreciate it too.
Love the 25 people. Shout out to, I want to do a shout out to Adrian Flores. He listens to everything. A lot of talking. Yeah, no. I gave him the option to hit us up. That option stays. Eventually we want to go live, but if you guys have questions you want us to tackle, go ahead. We need more structure, so that would be fantastic.
Yeah, because we'll just go anywhere.
Apart from that, you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. Yeah, the last 10 minutes proves that.
Yeah, we're on
Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on TikTok for as long as it's legal in the United States. And we are under the umbrella of Wicked Good Sports. They cover everything over there. Again, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, on YouTube, all the links below. Mm-hmm. Make sure you check it out. Anything else you want to bring up?
Nope. Just have a good weekend and stay warm if you're, in the Northeast.
Or say,
pretty much anywhere
if you're in the Northeast.
On this weather.
I'm going to say, guys, I'm sorry. We have a set of friends that we always see this time of year. We drive out to Ithaca, and it's always the coldest week of the year.
And you picked it.
So it's our fault, and we're sorry. Anyway, I'm Rhett. He's Aaron. Thank you very much for listening.
Well, guys, that was an episode of Swinging at Shins. We appreciate you for coming out and listening to us. If you guys want to hear or see more, we have links in the description below. We hope to hear from you soon and hear more about what you have to say.